बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.
This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.
ये है भारत FM.
बजेगा भारत, झूमेगा भारत.
Good morning, friends. Namaste. I just want to welcome each and everyone across the globe. I know there are audience watching today from India, Pakistan, Nepal, USA, Canada, and many other countries. But first and foremost, before I start, I would like to thank Manan Rahul, the founder of Bharat FM, for collaborating with Eyes Open International. And I would like to introduce and welcome our inspiring couples from all across the world. And first and foremost, I would like to welcome Lee and Shari Rickenbach from Ohio. So, Rick, can you just tell the audience something about yourself, and Shari can share something about herself from where you are. Thank you.
Yes, I'm Lee Rickenbach, and I first met Shari when I was in college, and we started dating. And then we've been married now for 45 years. And so it's a real joy to be with you today. And I know that what has transformed in our life can also be transforming in your life.
Fantastic. And we have another amazing couple from India, from Baroda, and that's Rakesh and Sangeetha Shah. So Rakesh, can you just brief our audience globally about yourself? Thank you. You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Namaste. Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna.
I am Rakesh from Baroda. My wife Sangeeta has joined me. I am from Baroda. Basically, I am from Haldarwas. That is my native place. It is in Kerala district, Gujarat, India.
Thank you. And our most amazing, charming, and gorgeous couple, Mark Kinman and Rosana Kinman, evergreen. Please, you are welcome to the show, and please share to our audience about yourself. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mark Kinman, and the gorgeous part comes from her, not me. But we pastor a church here in United States in Kentucky, the state of Kentucky, and we're just so pleased and honored to be with all of you guys tuning in, watching, and we're just going to have a great time today. We've been married 32 years, and we met at a restaurant. I used to manage a restaurant, and this beautiful girl came in, I thought was just a customer. And I was teasing with some of the guys. I'm like, hey, see that beautiful girl? I said, I'm going to get a date out of her. Well, I did. Turned into a marriage. And it's been 32 wonderful years. And I couldn't be more happy.
Thank you very much, Mark and Rosana Kinman. Friends and audience all across the globe, this is going to be a very interesting, inspiring, intelligent, and informative session on wedding. And I always say that wedding is happiness and marriage is freedom. And when we say this, it is proved here by not only these three couples here, but by many couples across the world. But having said that, we always would like to start on a very good note with a good prayer for all the couples who are, I think, getting married today. And maybe today it might be somebody's anniversary day. For us, all of us, I think for us, every day is a wedding day. But during this pandemic, a lot of people have lost their husbands, wife, loved ones, and we deeply respect each and every individual who has gone through this. I would request Pastor Mark Kinman to bless all the couples and say some very powerful words of healing to all our audience globally. Over to you, Pastor Mark. Thank you.
Well, we all know marriage is a journey and life is a journey as well. And we go through many, many things in life, and especially in marriage. But right now, as a world, as a globe, we've been going through a lot of tough times. And I know India in particular is experiencing a really hard time with the COVID-19 virus. So I want to bring a blessing, a prayer, not over just the marriages that we're going to be speaking about today and the future weddings and those going to be getting married, but also just overall our health and our well-being as a world. There's only one race, the human race, and God is the creator of all. So let's just go before God, our creator, with a prayer of blessings. Heavenly Father, our Father in heaven, you're the creator of all. You're the one who created and instituted marriage that we're here to celebrate today. And God, we just speak blessings over all of the marriages and all those young couples who are thinking, should I or should I not get married? We want to honor you today. We want to speak blessings over all of our nations represented here today, health, and we just speak peace to all of those who have lost loved ones, all of those who are struggling in many, many ways. Father, you help us get through these things. You're the God of hope. You're the God of love. Nothing in this world is guaranteed. We see that. We see that all the time. But you are faithful and you remain. And thankfully, your love and your hope and your faithfulness remains. So we honor you today and we speak blessings over all the wonderful couples that are sharing in and joining in with us today. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Pastor Mark. So friends, let's begin the show in a very vibrant way. But before I start the show, we respect every individual who have decided not to get married. We respect every individual human beings who have got divorced for whatever reasons, on personal note. So we have no ill feelings for anyone. We are not here to judge anybody. So I know a lot of people have arranged marriages, but I'm going to start with Lee and Shari first. That can you share to our audience? Was it love marriage? Was it an arranged marriage of yours? At what age you got married? How many years you are married? So can you share with the audience and what inspired you to get married and what and just being so happy here you said like 46 years. So can you tell us which year you got married? Thank you.
Well, I was a broken young woman because I was broken inside. What I didn't know was that God was going to change and he was going to make me kintsugi. And he was going to use this man to make me kintsugi. Because the broken pieces of my life was because of childhood sexual abuse. And I was trafficked. I was trafficked by family. And my husband did not know this secret for 19 years. And he still loved me. And then when I told him after 19 years, from 20 years old, add 19 years, I was almost 40. That's when I told him my backstory. And he still loved me and he helped me. And I thank God that he brought him into my life. And now I'll let him continue.
That's amazing.
Well, we first met, as I said before, in college. And we were 19 years old. And I was going to be going into my senior year. We started dating basically in the fall of 74 and or the fall of 73. And then we saw one another at Christmas of 1974. Then from there, it was till June that I saw her again. She was in another state, far away from where I was going to college, and she did not continue into her sophomore year. So we dated for a while, and then we're engaged for about a year. And in that last year of engagement, then we saw one another not too many times. So it was not an arranged marriage. It was something that both of our families were agreed to, but it was a marriage of distance. So lots of phone calls. And then we joined our hearts in June of 1975. And from there, we've traveled really all around North America, doing different types of educational ministries. And our last 20 years basically was spent in Central America with bilingual education. So this has been a wonderful journey for us, but it's been a rocky journey. We almost broke up. It was very difficult. I had a physical break, emotional break, and she stood with me. And that was then a time of real trauma in her life. And so she's gone through her trauma that I wasn't aware of till I was 19 years into marriage, which was about 1994. And then I went through my break. And that was just, just a short time before that. So one thing precipitated another. But we have found that the grace of God is sufficient in the deepest valley. So we are very grateful to honor him today, as he has honored us with 45 years. And it's been transforming. But it started with me. It has to start with you personally, individually. You can't change the other person. You have to change yourself and then honor who the other person is.
And that's what I had to quit expecting my husband to fix me. I wanted him to take all the broken and make it really nice for me. Mm-hmm. But then I realized, no, I have to fix my own self. I have to allow God to bring everything together and bring it back into alignment with who he created me to be. Mm-hmm. And when I started doing that, and I quit saying, I don't like you. Yeah. I don't like what you're doing to me. Mm-hmm. I don't like how you're making me feel. Mm-hmm. I had to change my mindset. I had to say, no, I have to change my mind and let God change all this within me first. Make no demands on him. And when I quit making demands on him, he started fixing himself. And then we started coming together. Mm-hmm. And I have to say again, God could take any broken. I can't get this.
Yeah, Shari.
Yeah. And he brings us together and makes everything beautiful again in his own time.
Yeah, you're done a wonderful. You're a wonderful couple. You're so inspiring, and we'll come back to you. I think you got a very deep and powerful story. You said I was broken, and y'all fixed each other's trauma, like what Lee said. We'll come back to you, and we'll talk more about with our audience, going through all these hurdles, and during your married life, the age of 19 and after 20 years. So stay tuned. We'll be back to you. We would like to go to Rakesh, Shah, and Sangeeta Shah to tell us, was your marriage a love marriage? Was it an arranged marriage? Was it a forced marriage? And where did you get married? I know that your story is also very inspiring, but the world needs to know how you started your journey. Thank you.
Our marriage is arranged, converted into love. I got married when I was 26 and my wife was 20. We are from same village. My house and her house is hardly 400 meters away. We didn't meet each other before we got married, before we got engaged. Her cousin brother and I were studying together on same bench, but we never met each other. In 1980, I went to Mumbai for my further studies, my expertising in tailoring profession. I came back into Vadodara in the 1984, and I decided to get settled in Vadodara, and we got married in 89. That was absolutely arranged marriage. Our parents arranged our marriage, and we are happily married since 32 years.
But Rakesh, can you share? I remember you telling that you saw 5. She was a 6th girl. Before that, you saw 5 girls, and all the 5 girls. You're a tailor, and please tell her.
Yes. This is very interesting. See, I'm from Shah community. In Gujarat, Shah community is different community where tailoring profession, custom tailoring profession is considered to be the lower profession. I decided I chose this profession because it was my passion. So my first question to the girl when I went to see they came to me or I went to them. My first question was that I am into tailoring profession. Are you convinced with my profession? I earn money very honestly and doing hard work. All five girls denied, no, we are not convinced with this profession, and we will not say anyone that you are into this profession. And Sangeeta was a girl who told me nothing wrong earning money by doing hard work and paying honesty. And the day and that moment we decided to get married, and I felt in love with her.
So thank you very
And
much, Rakesh bhai. I really appreciate that. And Sangeeta Ben, we all respect you. We admire you. At that time, I'm talking like 32 years back. That time there was such a stigma. People say, "Oh, you're getting married to a tailor," and that time you took
yes,
such a wise decision. And today you're blessed. I can see your husband is into designing. See where tailoring has taken him to, and full credit goes to you, Sangeeta. Obviously to Rakesh bhai. So thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So coming to Mark and Rosana Kinman. I didn't know that you had met in a restaurant. Come on, I didn't know that you were working in a restaurant. This is something I came to know today. You got a lot of hidden secrets. Mark and Rosana, please share with our audience today, globally. Thank you.
All right. Well, good to be with everybody and hearing everybody's interesting, unique stories. You could say we come from an arranged marriage. We say that God arranged this marriage.
Oh, I like that.
And yes, we fell in love, but I'll tell you, and I'm gonna let Rosana share this. Our families didn't come from the same backgrounds, very different religious backgrounds, and they didn't come to our wedding. And she was rejected by her family, and it hurt for 3 years. We were only 20 years old when we got married, so we were just a couple of kids, and she was rejected by her family. And for 3 years, we did not even see them. And she cried a lot, and that was kind of hard. It was stressful. But yeah, we got married. When did we get married? What year?
88.
That's good she remembered that. So go ahead. Tell.
Well, my brother was working at this restaurant, and Mark was the manager there on the night shift. And I went to pick him up one night, and because we were sharing a car. And when I walked in, he came forward, and something happened. It was literally love at first sight. We looked at each other, and something just clicked. And then he began to train me because he didn't know I was going to work there. And so when I came back to work, he found out, this guy who I've been training, her brother, I'm going to train her now. And so we began kind of flirting with each other in the restaurant,
And I've been training her ever since.
Yeah.
No, the truth is, I trained her in the restaurant industry, and she's been training me now for 32 years.
One of our first dates was he brought me to church.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So right away, I absolutely loved it. It was different from mine. People were free. They were free to praise the Lord, and it was very different. So
And that really kind of began the wedge or the difference between our families because of religion. That's all since changed, but at that time, it was a dividing point. And I'm not a bad guy, but they rejected her because of me, and that
they loved him in the beginning until they found out he had a different belief system.
Yeah. But we got married. We had zero money. Well, we had $13 when we got married.
13?
Yep.
$13. I don't know how many rupees that is, but it's not a lot. And it was a lot less back then. Let's put it that way. But we persevered. We worked hard. There were many, many, many challenges, financially and time and all the stresses of a marriage. But you know what? God helped us get through it. We had a decision to make and a commitment to follow. You can make a decision, but it takes a commitment to follow through. A decision changes nothing. It's just a beginning. And it was really a commitment and a purpose to persevere. Right now in the world, we're seeing a lot of changes, but you have to understand it's all temporary. This pandemic that's really hard right now, it'll be over. We will get through it. There'll be some heartache. There'll be some tough times, but marriage lasts longer than that. Marriage has always lasted longer than the previous bad experience or the previous good experience. It's always looking forward, going forward, no matter what.
I think your story is very inspiring. And you said you had only 3 friends, only $13 when they started. Can you imagine? Number one. Number two, her parents didn't come for 3 years. Understand the emotions, feelings, and sentiments, and how that gap has been bridged by Mark. So how you can bridge that gap. But having said that, my next point, it just came to my mind that all these 3 couples, you all are here today on this panel, and people are watching you globally across the world, is that during the wedding, you all 3 were poor starters. But during your married life, you have been a strong finisher, and you're not going to finish. But what I've seen today, many weddings today are exorbitant, are very strong, are very lively. They have destination weddings. They spend millions of dollars. And in your case, it was totally different. So I would like you all to, I don't know who wants to go first and start that, how you started and where you are today and how you reached this with all the hurdles. It's not that you had a cakewalk. There were a lot of potholes. There were a lot of bumpers. And how did you all overcome all the obstacles into opportunities and happiness? Anyone can start first. I want each one of you to talk on this subject. Yes, Rakesh bhai.
When I came back in Vadodara from Mumbai on 27 July 1987. Wow. And I started my first job at reputed tailor. I don't want to give their name because this is global telecast. But I started with 800 rupees per month. You work for 30 days and you get only 800 rupees. $1 is 80 rupees, Mark. I must say, $1 is 80 rupees. So I got my first salary that was 800 rupees on my hand. I was flying in sky. I had no transportation. I had no vehicle of my own. I bought my first bicycle to travel, and I was in the sky. So I worked there for 9 months. I used to work there for more than 12 hours. I requested my boss to take care of my salary and to increase it, because 800 rupees was not enough in those days. He did not pay any attention, and after some days, I requested him again. He didn't care about it. So I decided to leave from that place and to find another job where I can get more money, because money is very important thing in this time. In any time, money is important. So I went. See, I was working with the biggest shop in Vadodara. Now I decided to go to the best shop in Vadodara. That I would like to give the name of that shop is Modern Stores in Vadodara. Was a reputed tailor in Vadodara. So they offered me 1,000 rupees, 200 rupees extra. I was so happy that time. And after 8 months, I said, boss, I am leaving your shop after 30 days from now. I am giving you the notice. Then after 15 days, he called me and he offered me whatever I want. We can provide you a home. We can give you a scooter filled with petrol and salary, whatever you say. I said, no, sir, this is done. I'm committed to some other place. I will have to go there from 1st of May. So 30th April 1990 was my last day there, and 1st of May I joined Modern Stores. So I joined Modern Stores. There I worked for 5 months, but 1,000 rupees was also not enough for me. Then I decided to do something different than I must start my own business. Then I went to one store and I offered them that I am a tailor and I have got my own skill. You are selling clothes and you don't have any tailor. So kindly spare me some space where I can stand and take my customers' measurement. They said I will provide you the place, and for that you will have to pay some rent. I agreed, and from there I started my career, and that was the first step of my career. I started. There I worked for 1 year, and then I found I can do it on my own now. And I started my first shop in 1986, and it was only 80 square feet area, 80 square feet area where I had to work. Slowly, after 2 years, I got more than 3,000 customers, and my pocket was full of money. So my parents said, Rakesh, you are all alone now, and you have to work very hard. You are a hardworking boy, and now we think you are settled now. So we need to find a good and beautiful girl like Sangeeta, and you get married now. My own shop I started in 1986, and today is 2021. That is more than 37 years.
Congratulations.
32 years. 32 years. After working at my 80 square feet area shop for 15 years, I decided to buy my own shop, that is 400 square feet area in premium area of Baroda, that is Alkapuri. And till today I am working there.
Thank you very much, Rakesh bhai. It's really inspiring, and he's got his own designer showroom, I would say, in shape. And today you see all the fabrics I wear. He's designed that for me. I'll be very honest, and he's not taken a single penny. So I love you. I respect you. I admire you. And thank you for supporting Open Interaction. But Mark and Lee, I just want to take one question from Purobi Roy. She's from India, and she's asking a question. So I may take some questions from the audience. Is that what is that made you stay together, not give up on each other as a couple? What are some tips that you will suggest young couples for a long married life full of love? Mark, can you share something to this young lady, Purobi Roy Dave from, I think, India?
Purobi, that is a great question. A lot of different answers I could give, but I think one very important answer that I would give to that would be to realize that in a relationship, it's kind of a deal. It's kind of a partnership, and you have to look at it that way, because the warm and the fuzzies at some point, the warm and the fuzzies is like, oh, I don't care whatever happens in the world. You know, I love this person. But at some point you have to be responsible in your relationship, and the warm and the fuzzies won't carry you where you need to go, because there will be disagreements, right? You know, these couples that say, oh, we never disagree. Somebody's lying, okay? Somebody's not telling the truth, right? There are two people not alike in this whole world. I don't care who you are. There's going to be a disagreement. So you have to purpose to come to an agreement. We can disagree, but we can come to an agreement. And that a lot of times that's a compromise. And I think people forget that. We're all right. We know we're right all the time. But guess what? You have another partner, and we have to, even though we disagree, we can come to an agreement. And if you purpose to every time, you will.
Thank you. And that's a very good answer to Purobi Roy. And Purobi Roy, thank you for asking this question. And we want Lee and Shari to answer this question from Pakistan. It's Bilal Ahmed. And he says, and I think he's again telling Mark also, Mark, what's the right age to get married?
Well,
so anyone wants to answer that?
Well, we were 20 years old when we got married. Now that's kind of young, you know, for America. And in America, everybody wants everything perfect, everything set in place before you get married. As I was telling, you know, Rakesh was relating, we had $13. I was in school. We were in school the night before my wedding. I'm studying for finals, and you know, it's just craziness. And you know, I'm working around the apartment that we were renting, trying to get ahead. And everybody was telling me I was crazy for getting married so young. But I loved this girl, and I saw the future with her. And I decided that my future for the rest of my life was with her. I don't think there's an age. We could have been 18 or 19, But let me tell you, as we get older, we do mature. And with the more maturity, you make wiser decisions. Give yourself lots of options. The more options you have, the better decisions you'll be able to make. We just worked hard. I can really identify with Rakesh's situation because I started a business. I was realizing that we were struggling financially the first couple of years of our marriage. We would eat macaroni and cheese. If you know what that is, Americans eat a lot of it, and it's cheap, right? And it's so cheap, we didn't have enough money. We had to wait till it was on sale, 4 boxes for $1, and then we would buy like 20 of them for our $5, and we would save up, and we would eat that and go to school. And then on Friday, we would splurge. You know what we would do to splurge? That means to just spend a little bit frivolous extra dollars. We would add tuna or ground beef to the mac and cheese. That was our splurge night on Friday night. But purpose, persevere, to get ahead, to work hard. We realize that money, lack of it, is a stress on marriages. And you need to do whatever you can do to eliminate any stress. And money's a big one. So you either have to live less or make more. And I realized that I needed to make more. And I started a business, very, very small, bought one product, sold it to some people, bought some more, sold it. And anyway, 27 years of business. I had stores and delivery routes, and we changed a lot of things. And we used that money to do a lot of good work in our communities.
So thank you very much, Mark. But we have got a lot of messages or comments, like we have Chetna from Nepal and somebody from Cambodia, none. But anyway, I just want to, we'll be covering those points also. But coming down to the next, because we are very short of time, I want to ask Lee and Shari, and then others can also tune in about kids. Many times people, they said like, getting married and then we don't have kids. But what is your personal feeling on having kids? I want each one of you address on having children. And at what age did you have the kids, your first child? And how many kids you have? And how old are they now? Thank you.
Well, we decided right away that we wanted to start a family. So we didn't wait. And I think Mark has a really excellent point. You have to remember your options. We were always in some kind of a ministry. So I guess we're in good company today, because my first job was teaching, was $25 a month. And then I got $75 a month. And then I got a raise after 7 years to $150 a month. But you have to remember, everything was supplied. We weren't renting anywhere. We actually could eat several meals at a dining hall there at that school campus. So we had a lot of things provided. But whenever you have children, which we had 3 by the time we left our first ministry, our first job down in New Mexico, I figured I was going to have to pay for maybe I'd get an arm paid for, a leg of my first baby paid for, or my third baby, excuse me. By the time maybe in 10 years, I mean, it was very expensive because they all had problems. But we left that school job with all of our children paid for. So we had 3 there in our first 7 years, and then we had another child down in Guatemala. So we have 4 children, and our oldest is 45.
Wow.
We'll be here in just a few days, and then 43, 45, 43, 40, and 38. Yeah. So
Shari's just...
Yeah, 9 years apart from the youngest to the oldest. And I don't know, we were really happy to have our children fairly close together because they could have someone to play with, someone to enjoy. And in our kind of work, they just, we just enjoyed being a family together wherever we went. So we started a family early. The only regrets I have today is that I wished I would have waited and allowed my wife to finish college. She's a great learner. She's probably learned more in the last number of years to give herself a degree. If I could get an honorary degree for her, I sure would. But that is one thing that I think would have been very, very helpful for her to finish college before we started a family. But we're very happy all of our children have children except our daughter. and who is not married, but we appreciate that privilege of starting our family young. And when you become grandparents, you get to enjoy them more. You're not as old. So it's a great, it's a kind of a win-win.
Thank you very much, Lee and Shari. You are a very inspiring and young couple. But before I move to Rakesh and Sangeetha, Shah, I just want to share a lot of compliments, like Luella Menezes Mascarenas from India, I think Pune, she said, lovely show. Chetna Shresti from Nepal, but that's awesome. And Kevin Patel, I think he's from Gujarat. Hello, everyone. All are looking nice together. So there are a lot of compliments and people said, so somebody said from Kishore Parekh, great conversation, really inspiring to all. So all this, you're doing an amazing job. So, but now coming to Rakesh, Shah and Sangeetha Shah, that in India, I know it's always, I would not say, I don't know how to put it. I'm just struggling to use the appropriate word to respect. You have 2 daughters.
Yes.
People want kids like boys. That's the culture. You have 2 daughters. So was raising daughters a pain or a pleasure? Thank you.
It is. It is a blessing, I must say. My first daughter, we got married in 1989. My first daughter was born in 1990, April. She is now 31, and younger child is Rajvi, and she was born in 1995. She's 27 today, 26 plus today.
Both daughters are married?
Yes, my elder daughter got married in 2015, and younger one got married on 4th February 2020. And after her marriage, I was to travel to USA, to your place, and this COVID-19 spoiled everything. Lockdown was on 22nd of March. So I could not attend that the event, US Advisory Council souvenir release event. It was very unfortunate for me.
But we're happy to see you today virtually, like you're meeting Mark, you're meeting Lee, Shari, and eventually you'll come to the United States of America to meet your daughter. His daughter is married and she'll be coming to Detroit, Michigan. And I just want you to share a little bit on your daughters because you have raised them like boys. When I say boys means, I'll say you raise them with freedom. See, freedom. Freedom is a very small word, but the same breath, very powerful. I've seen you that, I don't know, I want you to share yourself. How did you give so much freedom to your daughters? And they're like, I don't know, they're like angels, both your daughters, They're very respectful, very understanding, and very cultured. They've got a lot of character, value, education. How did you as a couple, how did you raise them?
See, having baby boy in India is blessings according to others. I have 2 daughters. I'm very happy with them. And I gave all freedoms. See, no time bar. They should. My instruction was that you just let me know what time are you coming. I don't mind if you stay overnight to your friend's place. I trust you. I don't mind. See, it is all. Say when we have freedoms, they should have freedoms. Mm-hmm. So, producing child is not a big thing, but growing them in a good way is a big thing. And for their education also, I didn't bother much. They did everything good on their own. And see, freedom has to be given. If you don't allow them to do whatever they like, they may go to a wrong side, a wrong way. So my idea was to give them freedom. Freedom is they are going on a right track. Then it's fine.
Well, that's very good, and you are doing a wonderful job. You are a wonderful father, and Sangeetha is an amazing mother. And God bless you. God bless your 2 daughters. And
thank you.
And we'll see you soon in the US. Coming down to Mark and Rosana. First of all, there is a complimentary question for you, Neelam Sharma from Mumbai. What's your message for young couples? That's one. And then there's one more thing. I think Purobi Roy has again come back and said that with each passing day, what is that makes you fall more in love with him or her? So Mark Kinman, I want if you can answer this, and even if you can talk about your kids, about your son and daughters, like, and I've seen them, like I always say, a family that prays together stays together, a family that eats together stays together, a family that travels together stays together, and a family that volunteers. By the way, friends, Mark Kinman and Rosana Kinman, they volunteer a lot. They got their own foundation. I want you to share with all the audience today that, and especially here in the United States of America, who are in Ohio and Kentucky, how they can come to your IZEA, and during this pandemic, they can come and take groceries. Not only people who are Americans and who are going through a bad phase, but including immigrants who have no status. Can they come and avail your benefits? Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so that's a lot of questions there. I would say to the young people today, TV, social media, all of the things that are trying to show you what love is and what marriage is, and these situation comedies on TV or these movies where problems or crisis arises and it's all solved in 20 minutes or 30 minutes outside of the commercials or whatever. That's just not real life. There takes a purpose. But I think the number one thing that people miss is the honoring of marriage. They treat it too loosely. It's not just a piece of paper. It's not just a contract. It's a covenant. It's a covenant that was designed by God. It is a picture of a relationship that God desires with us as his creation. But marriage is so important. And I think people discredit it and they dishonor it by just treating it so loosely. And I think that's one thing I would speak to the young people is don't just try it out, living together or things like that, or play marriage. It's a commitment. And if everybody did that and valued it, they would see what God originally instituted. Because we were not made to live alone. God said it's not good for man to be alone. That's why he gave us a helpmate. I mean, she helps me. We're very different, but I don't want. Can you just imagine yourself, whoever you are out there listening or watching, imagine a world, 7.6 billion people that were all just like you. If the world was exactly like me, I'd be out there rioting and revolting. I'd be upset. It's a good thing that we're different. Celebrate the differences. We're all different in this world. We need to celebrate those differences. It's very, very important. Let's see. With regard to the children, we have 2 children. Well, she had them. I was there in the beginning. She finished the deal. But our children, our son is 24 years old and our daughter is 21 years old. We did not have children right away. You can tell them.
Yeah, we waited 8.5 years before we had children. Mark is very hardworking and really wanted to be in a house before we started trying to have children. And even that part, once we did get in a house and started trying, we were having difficulty. And so I prayed a prayer and I asked God to bless us with a child. And we both prayed and asked for a son first, mainly because we wanted him to take care of his sister when she came later. And God honored it and he blessed us. Where they told me I couldn't have children, God did a miracle and I was able to have 2 children. Before Kylie came, after Colton, I did have a miscarriage, but I didn't let that stop me from trying again and letting God honor that. And one of the things we did is we homeschooled our children, which him working hard in the business and everything allowed me to homeschool them and teach them, the things that they don't teach in schools, like honor and how to respect, your elders and things that God teaches us in his word, and they just don't teach in schools anymore. So they grew up learning everything of how to live God's way and how to save money, how to spend money, how to tithe and give money, so they both are doing really, really well. They're both successful in their jobs and they have a great, life, and they're
I think what you're really talking about is instilling values.
yeah.
If I one regret, I don't really have many regrets at all in life, but the only real regret I have is that we waited too long. I try to have everything perfect and everything just right. There is no right time for kids and family and all that kind of thing. But I would have liked to have done it maybe 3 or 4 years earlier, because children are such a blessing. And I'll tell you what, this lady right next to me, she is everything to do with how wonderful our children are, because she spent time with them. But men, let's just stay on this subject of children right now, because it is so important. Children are our future. You've heard that, right? So important. This is why marriage is so important. This is why we're all here today. The family unit is so important. But men, you are so important in this marriage, especially those of you who have children. Why is that? Because we're shaping their lives. And I've always purposed, I'm going to have a better marriage this year than I did last year. I was never going to tell my buddies or in the world, just, I wish I never got married. I was never going to speak bad. Always going to speak positive words about my marriage. But let me say this over your children. Speak positive words over them. Encourage them. But show them. See, my daughter, I'm going to tell you this. She'll never be abused. Why? She won't accept it. Because she saw how I treated her mother. She will not accept anything less from a man. This is why it's so important, fathers, that you're involved and that you treat your wives so well, because your daughters are watching. And guess what? Who else is watching? Your boys. Your boys are watching. See, my son, whoever gets my son, she's golden. Because my wife, she won't even get out of the car unless I open the door for her. So chivalry is not dead, nor should it be. And I'm telling you, my son will treat his wife very well. We're talking about all this abuse and all these kind of things. It's because we've got to raise our children correctly and teach them the values, the respect for women, and their love. And my children, they'll be in trouble if they don't.
But very powerful, Mark and Rosana Kinman. Jokes apart, I think you have spoken the bitter truth of the success of a happy married life. Not only that, but how to raise very happy kids. Happy kids. When I say kids, happy means, and you have done an amazing job. I'll come back to you again, Mark and Rosana, especially Mark. I want you to share about the IZIA later on, how people can avail the benefits, but I'll come back to that. But having said that, I just like to read. I'm getting a lot of, compliments to all three couples of you, that I'm getting a lot of compliments, and I would like to read a couple of them before I go to the next question. This is from Rachna Sabarwal. The credit goes to Sangeeta. She groomed her daughters very nicely. This indicates that she is fantastic mother, a good mother, I would say. So compliments to everybody. Shari, I would say Rosana and Sangeeta. Then there is Kevin Patel. I just met Rakesh uncle just 2-3 times, but honestly saying, he is just like my father. When I meet him, I feel like I met my father. This is very powerful. And Mark and Shari and Lee, this boy's father is in the United States of America and is a victim of human trafficking. I don't want to put much light on this, but maybe whenever you pray for this family. They are not met for, I don't know, more than 10 or 12 years. And Eyes Open International is working with them for his status, for his father's status. But I just wanted to, I don't want to get into the depth, but these words are very powerful. Rakesh bhai, this is a big compliment for you. And I just wanted to read something else also, Loella Menezes from Pune. True, Rakesh, if you are too strict, kids will do things slyly. Or, they'll do behind your back, So that's it. But again, I would like to come to Lee and Shari. I know I met you and I'm very touched with you. You are married for 46 years. You said, when you said in the beginning of the show that you are broken, nobody says that. That really touches, I think, every man's heart or every girl's heart. But you never showed that. And after 19 years, I think when you said you're 40 years old, you shared that with your husband. Number one, you had that courage. You had that trust. But most important, I always say, the mother who raises the child is bigger than the mother who gives birth to the child. So in such a case, such a situation, I know you went through that traumatic situation in your childhood. I don't know what it is, and I respect, like, your feelings, emotions, and sentiments, Shari. At the same time, you're trying to educate people, but at the same time, we all, Mark, Rosana, Rakesh, Sangeetha, myself, Lee, we salute you. I literally salute you from my heart. You are a god for me. That you accepted this with grace and blessings, and you got more closer. And I want to share that I want you to share, how did you accept this? Or not, I don't have the proper words. I want you to share it with the audience. Thank you.
It's a big subject. It's hard to know where to start, but the thing that made me want to hold that a secret was because I knew that my husband wanted a virgin.
Mm-hmm.
And that had been stolen from me as a child.
Mm-hmm.
So my anger sometimes is directed at him, which I had to deal with. But that is the point, that I had to come into alignment with God and accept, even though that had been stolen from me, that was not my identity. I was still who God created me to be inside. And nothing that ever happens to us
Mm-hmm.
ever changes the identity who God created us with. And when I came into alignment with that thought, that is when I became Kintsugi. And it took me a lifetime. It took me all my life to bring this into alignment. But I tell you, it's forgiveness and commitment to each other. That is what held us together, because every night we would ask forgiveness for the things that may have transpired that were not very nice between us. And we always said, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And for those who are wondering, how do you keep your marriage together? It is committing and choosing every single day, every moment of that day, I will love this person because I have committed. My commitment to stay married until death us do part, no matter what. And that is what kept us and is still keeping us. I still choose every day to love my husband. And probably when we're 80 and 90 and 100 years old, I'll still be choosing to love my husband because I don't want anybody else.
Freedom is a choice, and it's not 50-50. A marriage is not 50-50. It's 100%, 100%. I give to her 100%, she gives to me. And as I value her more, I like what Mark said and Rakesh. Well, when we give ourselves to our wife and truly value her as a special vessel, it just takes away our pride. It takes away our egotism. We don't really have to prove anything as a husband or a man. It's just a joy to give myself to Shari and give 100% to her. And that gives her value, and that helps her to grow and be the creative woman that she was designed to be.
And until he gives of himself 100% to me, I can't be that creative woman. And as many were talking about how our marriages, we started with almost zero for money. And you guys lived on macaroni. We lived on beans. I learned how to make beans 100,000,001 ways. But it's like those little things that seem so unimportant within a woman. God has created every woman to create abundance. And if a man holds a woman in this little prison, he doesn't set her free. But when he sets her free to be her creative self, all he has abundance in him. God created every woman with a creative something within us to create abundance, if that makes sense.
It's very, very powerful. It makes a lot of sense. We always talk about caring and not controlling. And I think here is a living example. But Lee, with due respect, I know it's very emotional, but if you are comfortable, I want to share your sentiments that when she shared about what happened to her after 20 years, how did you receive it? How did you accept it? How did you acknowledge it? And how did you forgive, forget, and you all got closer? Like, I want you to share with our couples or people across the world, because many times this type of situation breaks instead of bringing them together. If you are willing to share, I'm okay. If you're not willing to share also, we'll move ahead. But I would respect if you can share what was going on in your mind and how did you like it's a huge challenge for everybody, including me, for a guy, like, if you're married. So please, thank you.
I think at the beginning, I hid my emotions. When we were married, because of our faith, it is till death do us part. And so overarching everything was a vow, a promise I made to her, whether it was in good times and bad times, I would still love her. I think what made it more painful to me was because of her background, because of her family background, which I had chosen, but I also had put faith in that family background. Her siblings were my friends. So all of this that came out almost 20 years later after we were married really was devastating to me. And when I say I didn't process it correctly, I wasn't allowing us to really, after I understood it, I really didn't allow us to talk about it. I didn't allow her to really take me deeper and just simply for me to say to her, tell me more. It was rather, this is very painful for you. It's very painful for me. I do forgive you. And I will trust you. But if you don't go deep in your own self, in realizing how you are processing this very painful thing, you'll find resentment down deep. Get my finger. You'll find resentment, and that resentment can be so subtle if you don't really process it, if you don't really allow yourself to be able to talk to your spouse about what happened. And then what begins is this I don't know how to explain it. It begins this leveraging. Well, she's broken and I didn't go through that. Therefore, I don't really need to value her like I should. Now, you don't put that in words, but if you don't process this in your heart, you'll begin to subtly say things, do things that will cause her a lot of hurt. And I did. So we found that even after she began to write her book, began to really give voice, I realized deep within, I needed to say, this was very painful, but I do forgive you. And I accept the value that God has given to you. You are of utmost valuable to God. And I honor that. And I give you my virtue. God has given his virtue to her, and nobody can steal it. She says, my identity, nobody can take away. And that's true. And I want to enhance that every day. But make sure if some traumatic thing comes up of the past that you're unaware of. Yes, I thought I had a virgin to marry. That was the ideal. That was my hope, my prayer. That's what we talked about. but it was so deeply hidden in her psyche that she told me the truth. She thought she was a virgin, but she was not. And
I was.
yes, you were. You're right.
If it's stolen,
That's right.
I didn't give it away.
That's right. You were. But even trauma cannot destroy a marriage. And I totally agree with Mark. Every year is going to be a better year for us. And we're just looking forward to many years ahead, because this is a joy to embrace the other partner and all of her virtue and all of her gold. She's gold.
Lee, you're platinum. And all I can say today is that I got so emotional listening to you that I think just listening to these three couples, I think there is no need for anyone to go for counseling. What is counseling? I mean, this is real, practical, what you have gone through in life. You said trauma and coming out of it. Man, I don't know, Ian, just saluting you or any words, it's very small. But once again, God bless you. You are an inspiration. I just want to read some delegates who have written this from India. Kishore Parekh. Really, the secret of success story of happy married life of Lee and Shari is just unbelievable. Great support to each other. The world is complimenting you.
Thank you.
So, like Chetna Shrestri from Nepal. This is profoundly so well summed up. Was that a book you mentioned? Is there a book? I think you had a book. Do you have it? So can you tell something? Where can the audience get the book from?
You can order it on Amazon.
Okay, Amazon.
Amazon has this echoing silence from the child within. And this is the picture of me at 3 years old. And that is when the trauma
Is that
started.
your picture? Is that you?
That is me at
Oh, that's
3
you.
years old.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
echoing silence from the child within.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wow.
it is a story not about what happened. It is a story about God's transformation and how he takes the broken and makes kintsugi. That's my story.
Wow. So that's good. Then I just want to read one more compliments. That's from Kishore Parekh. Rakesh bhai, the success of your children is all because you got the wife who understands you as well as her role to become a caring mother. So that goes to you. But I'll come back to Mark. Friends, this is something very important. If you got a paper and pen, please note it. And Mark, I wanted to share this in little bit detail of your IZEA ministry, especially during this pandemic. Because there are so many couples, I think you could bridge. They're going through this. They don't have food in the house. Because I do run groceries for a lot of immigrants and in vulnerable population. Please, can you share where people can come out, reach, what you do? And it's a God's blessing what you're doing, and you're doing it for so many years. And like, can you share that anybody can walk in, whether you're an American or any human being? I wanted to share a little bit in detail, please. Thank you.
Well, yeah, we have a ministry. It's called the Isaiah House Ministries, and it's really a food ministry. But the food is really just a tool. Everybody needs food, no matter what. We struggled in our first years of our marriage, and we knew what we were going to be eating for dinner that night. Now we open up the refrigerator, the cupboards, and we're like, what do we want to eat? Well, not everybody has that privilege. And there's a number of people, especially during the pandemic, going on more than a year now, they didn't have that option. And a lot of their options where they would go get food was shut down and closed. So we run a ministry that we buy food, some of it's donated, and then we just give it away. And the reason I say it's a tool, because it's just that sustenance that we can give to somebody and show them love. We're really there just to love on people and encourage them and show them that we're there for help. We teach them about God and how God loves them, and we pray with them, and we've seen many, many, many things. But the food becomes like an open door, like a trust. So we call it Isaiah House Ministries, and we're in Covington, Kentucky, and Ludlow, Kentucky, distributing to hundreds of families. We give each family about a week's worth of food. And you can contact us at Faith Church Incorporated. We're at 3830 Narrows Road in Erlanger, Kentucky, 41018. You can email me, Pastor Mark, at myfaithchurch.com. We have a website, isaiah-house.com. And it's just a wonderful ministry. The food is, yes, that's what draws people there. But very, very quickly, when people are there, they realize whether you're volunteering or you're there to receive, the food is just part of it. It's really the party. It's really like you have a dinner. The purpose is, yes, we're all going to eat, but the purpose is the fellowship and the love and the friendship. And we just welcome everybody. I don't care where they come from, who they are. We have people that have showed up and they have money, but they lost a job or their spouse lost a job and they're just in need for just a short period of time. We don't judge anybody. We have people that are immigrants, whether they're documented or undocumented. Everybody needs food, and we're all the human race, and we love each other, and we honor God by really just reaching out to our neighbor. And God said the greatest commandment, I can relate this to marriage also. God said the greatest commandment is to love the Lord your God with all your soul, heart, mind, and spirit. And Jesus said the second greatest commandment is like the first, love your neighbor as yourself. So I think we've got to realize that our spouse is our neighbor. And if you really want a real good goal, there's a lot of ways you can make it in marriage. But I'll tell you, the number one way is to just, if we put God first, and if I want to obey the commandments and be more like God and love him and love others, I'll do better in my marriage. If you can kind of think of like a triangle, it's hard to do that on screen. Like you're here and she's there, and I just have a goal to get closer to God, and she has a goal to get closer to God. Well, the closer you get to God, guess what? You get closer together. So I think it's important that if you kind of have that common goal, we're going to love God and we're going to love our neighbor. And our neighbor is ourselves or others. Yes. We help our marriages too. And we teach a lot of things in the Isaiah House ministry, but we're really there to just give out the food. And then that opens the door to say, hey, how are you doing? Is everything okay? We have hundreds of volunteers and hundreds of families, and I really make it a purpose. And we're doing things differently because of COVID. We're packing off-site and we're bringing it and putting it in front of their cars. But I go by all the cars and I say, how are you doing? How is your families? Is there anything that we can pray with you about? What's going on? And sometimes you get some of their story because there needs to be trust. You know, when I met Harold, he was serving. He said, people need to know about this ministry. Now, at the time, I didn't know what had happened in his life and why the ministry like this is so important, because people need to know who to trust. And there was a lot of wonderful people that reached out to Harold and Dancy with some sustenance. And the more you do that, the more trust you build with people. And I think that's why the ministry is so important.
Mark, can you share with the audience, like if people who are in Cincinnati right now watching, in Hawaii or in Kentucky, where can they come? It's on the last Saturday. Can you share all these details where they can come?
What we try to do is...
or you just give the food?
Yeah, we try to leverage all of our volunteer help because no one is paid. Actually, our volunteers pay. They donate money. We buy the stuff. We give it away. But if anybody wants or needs help, we try to leverage our time and do it the last Saturday of every month. And if you're in the Cincinnati tri-state area, Kentucky, Ohio, or Indiana, you can come to the St. Elizabeth Hospital parking lot in Covington, Kentucky on James Simpson Boulevard, the very last Saturday of every month. We've never, ever missed in years and years and years. I don't care what the weather is. We're out there, semi-trucks, forklifts, we're loading up people with food. And then also in Ludlow, at the Ludlow Vets there on Route 8. If you'd like to contact us and maybe set up an appointment, you can come here to the church. We've got food here at the church at 3830 Narrows Road, Erlanger, Kentucky, 41018. You can give us a call, 859-491-2850. You can email me, Pastor Mark, at myfaithchurch.com. If you're hungry, there's really no need. We've got food, and we don't judge anybody. I don't care if you show up here in a BMW. We're going to give you some food.
I love that. And what time on Saturday can they come?
They can come as early as 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. And we're there. We're there at 6:30 in the morning. We're setting up, and like I said, during COVID, I told all of our volunteers, if anybody asks if we're doing it, you're an essential worker and we're going to be there. So we've never missed, and God is faithful.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mark and Rosana Kinman. The entire family is there. His son is there. His daughter is there. And friends, if you are in need food, you can come there. But even if you do not need food, but you would like to volunteer, we need volunteers there at IZIA on the last Saturday. Please show up in the morning, 7 o'clock or early, and you'll really enjoy it. My family has done it. We love it. And we love you, Mark and Rosana, for what you do. God bless you. But moving next, I just want to read some comments from Chetna Shrishti from Nepal. Inspiring indeed, Mark and Rosana. Gratitude. And this is Vimal Satyal. Secret of long, happy marriage. Ask not what your wife can do for you. Ask what you can do for your wife. Best wishes from Australia. Married for 51 years.
Good.
So
Very good.
yeah, so we have a lot of comments over here, but I would like to move on to the next question, or the next thing we would like to know, our audience, that what were the most struggling times in your life? I know each and everyone has gone, because people think that, oh, married life maybe for Mark and Rosana was a cakewalk. The runway was very smooth, so I think the runway for each and every married couple is the same. Whether you're married in a royal family, you're married with a pauper, I think, the path is the same. So there are potholes, there are bumpers, there is vibration, there is cyclone, there's everything. So I think in your all three couples' life, it was the same. But what made you all still stick together and love? You look like you all are just married. Like for you all, the moment I look at you, I meet you out anywhere, like I meet Mark, there's so much positive energy. Like, I feel energized. I meet Rakesh bhai, his wife, I go to his house, like they're all bubbly. It's like they just got married today. And same with Lee and Shari. So what is that was the rough phase also in your life? I don't know who wants to start first. And how did you all handle it? How did you all handle it collectively? And there are a lot of questions people ask me that, like, how did you all go through all this stuff? Okay.
I'll just start.
Yes.
I think, everybody wants the secret. What's the secret, And here we've got our panel here. We've got some varying marriages, both in time and perhaps culture. We've got some strong women here. We've got Superwoman over there, Sangeeta, who raised a couple of awesome daughters. And we've got all these people listening in, and everybody wants to know the secret. And every marriage is different. What we did in our marriage may not be what somebody else needs to do. And everybody wants that one secret. What is the one thing I need to do? And it's not any one particular thing. It's commitment. It's realizing that love is not something that you feel in demand from your spouse. It's something that you do. If my relationship is dependent on how she has to make me feel, if I'm dependent on how she has to make me happy, then we're going to have struggles. We're going to have some hard times. And we have had some hard times. It's not been a cakewalk. There's been some financial struggles at times. And I just thought, wow, we're done. That's it. Business is over. I don't know what we're going to do. And we're praying to God. There were struggles in ministry times. Like, man, I can't seem to get past, these people who have hurt me. And there's been some really pressured times. The secret is none of us all arrived here. Whoever's listening or wherever you're listening, we all didn't just arrive here with perfection or arrive here with success. For us, it's been over 32 years of day-to-day success. People, the back to the ministry, people show up and they say, wow, like it happened overnight. It's like, I've been doing this for 32 years. We started with 12 bags of groceries. I was a kid. I was a teenager. But you know what? We just never stopped. It looks like this huge success, but the secret is we just didn't stop. We just kept going no matter what. And I don't care who you are. And some of you got maybe some more difficult challenges than what we had, and some stresses and some trauma, but you're not your past. Tomorrow is your future. You're not going to add a single day worrying about tomorrow. or trying to relive the past or try to escape the past. Just keep going.
I would also say communication is the key. When you guys stop communicating, then that's when your marriage stops, because he doesn't know what you're thinking and vice versa. So you have to communicate. You have to say, you know, this really didn't make me feel good when you did that or said that, and give him an opportunity to ask for forgiveness, you know, because that's the key, communication.
Yeah.
That's very good. That's very powerful, communication. Yeah, Rakesh bhai, because we have just 15 minutes left. Respecting the time.
What goes around comes around. If you give respect, you get respect.
Mm-hmm.
And you never know how hard someone's job is until you do it yourself. My wife is a homemaker. She, when she gets up, she prepares a good cup of tea for me, and then breakfast, and then my lunch, and then household work and caring for children when they were young, looking for their schools, looking for their studies. And what I was doing, I was earning money. That was my work. But becoming a homemaker is a very difficult job. So I respect her, what she did for me. Without her, it could not have been made possible for me.
Very true.
And I don't mind doing my household work also. On Sundays, I am there with her. We do dusting, we clean our house. I do mopping also, and we are happy with that.
So has
respect.
the pandemic brought you closer?
Yes, definitely. We see. Very interesting. I'll tell you one thing. My elder daughter was in Indore. Indore is in Madhya Pradesh, India, my MP. So my elder daughter was in Indore. She got married in Indore. My wife and my younger daughter Rajvi went to Indore for a couple of days. My wife came back to Vadodara, and my younger daughter Rajvi said, "Mama, I will stay there for 4 more days." And she was stuck up there due to lockdown. So fortunate part is my wife and I were all alone in the home for 45 days. She could not come from Indore. So it was a wonderful time of my life, I must tell you. In Hindi, there is a say, हम साथ हैं तो फिर फिक्र किस बात की? When we are together, nothing to worry. So
that's powerful in the pandemic, that you should enjoy your family time.
Yes.
I think it's a God's blessing that God is telling you, okay, come on, I'm giving you family time. Up till now, you used to go to work here. And that's very powerful, Rakesh bhai and Sangeeta.
Yes, because 45 days we were together. We were looking each other whole day, and that was a wonderful time. That was our honeymoon, I must say.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, Rakesh and Sangeeta. Yeah, Lee and Shari, you would like to add anything, like anything of your journey, of your struggle? I know there's a lot of things very inspiring, but anything you'd like to share with their audience globally?
Go ahead.
Like, I think you were in Guatemala. I think you were many parts of your years in. Can you share that about your journey in some other country?
Yeah, that was a really amazing time in our life, because I didn't know what the kind of, we went to language school in Costa Rica, and we became pregnant there, and I was headed for Guatemala. I didn't know what kind of a situation I'd be in. I didn't know if I'd be in a hospital. I didn't know what doctor I'd have. And our baby was born a month early, and it was, there was a hospital, a Catholic hospital, that saved our baby's life. There was a nun who absolutely refused to leave that hospital. She took care of our baby 24/7. And it was just an incredible time of our life. It was a very hard time of our life. But all these situations that God takes you through, you look back on it and you say, well, it wasn't really all that bad, because every moment of those days, we were focused on each other, loving each other, and we were focusing on being grateful for what we had at the moment. And the gratitude, I believe, takes us through the hard times of life when we don't know what's going to happen. And it was in those times when, as a couple, we drew closer together because we had nobody else. We didn't hardly know how to speak Spanish. We made lots of mistakes, and people probably laughed at us for trying to say something. We said the wrong words. But, you know, in a hospital, when you are facing your baby dying, it's amazing how those people who couldn't speak very much English and how we couldn't speak very much Spanish, that was probably one of my worst moments. But love is the language around the world.
Yes.
And those people were praying for us, and we knew that they were caring for our child, and we had to trust. And I think that's how God brings people, groups together, and we all become one. We are together in this life. And the way that you are working, Harold, with all these different people and bringing us all together, I believe it's God's great blessings upon every nation around the world to understand that he cares about us all. And no matter where we're at in our marriages, no matter where we are in our families, it is that love that brings us together and aligns us together. And that's where I'm going to stop with this, because I believe that my husband can add where he wants.
Well, I like the theme of this podcast, Harold, that wedding is happiness, marriage is freedom, and freedom of choice. And I choose today. Sometimes emotions aren't there. Honestly, they're not there. But I can will to do it. I can choose to do it. I can choose to love my wife. I can choose to love my neighbor, whether that's the one across the wall from me, or the one that's, across the fence, or the one that's, 5,000 miles away in another country. I choose. And choice is a freedom. Freedom is a choice. And I'm thankful for that freedom today in my own heart. I choose to love Shari. I choose to forgive. I choose to see my neighbor as one who is in need. And we think, we feel, we choose. It works.
Yeah, thank you very much, Shari and Lee. But we have just 7 minutes. But I want to read some compliments from Jigar Shah. You both always share your wisdom, time, advice, and love. Thank you. This is from Deepak Soni from India. It is very inspiring to hear all these couples talk about how they are standing stronger than before, despite all odds. Thank you all for sharing your inspiration. So thanks, each one of you. Puravi Roy Dave. Mark, you have explained the love triangle. Awesome. So yeah, and I think that's very good. The way you said it, the closer you come, the bonding is very good. So there are a lot of comments from the delegates from Nigeria, I think Nepal, Pakistan. We have 6 minutes. I think Hriday, can you put in Rakesh Shah also? I don't know. Is he waiting? Can you get him in? But I just want each one of you to share one thing for our audience who are married or not married. Maybe you can talk on different subjects, but maybe you had you had a lot of frictions in your life, which I know you always said. How did you? I don't know what you want to share. Anything, whether it is how you change negativity into positivity. One message you'd like to share, each one of you, to our audience. We have 6 minutes, so maybe each one can take 2 minutes. Thank you. Yes, Mark. We'll begin with you and Rosana.
Okay, well, I think one of the things Rosanna talked about earlier was communication, and that's so important. You've got to be able to keep that communication open, and you have to provide a safe place for your spouse to come to about anything. And that's one of the things, and she has to provide that safe place for me. I should be able to communicate with her about anything. No subject should be like, well, we don't talk about that. We don't go there. We need to purpose to provide a safe place to communicate whatever it is to one another. That's how Lee and Shari got past their barrier. That's how we've gotten past our barriers. And I think sometimes when you're in a disagreement or you face a tough situation, you communicate, you talk it out, you purpose to come to an agreement, but then also speak the right words, because words are seeds. Rakesh just said, what goes around comes around. And that's a popular saying, but I think it's stronger than that. God made it stronger than that. Everything we know in life begins with a seed. And there's a little bit of time, nothing is instant, but the harvest always comes. But the harvest is always greater than the seed. So sometimes what goes around, what is planted, comes back even bigger. And what I want to make sure is that I'm planting the right seeds so that I get the right harvest, because seeds turn into time and turn into a harvest, and the harvest is always greater than the seed. So if I speak the right words and I do the right things and sow them as seeds, I get the right harvest. But I'm always telling people, make sure you know what you're planting today, because you don't want to be planting something that turns out to be a weed or a thorn or something later that's going to hinder your marriage.
Never use the word divorce or separation. Always think unity.
Yeah, always be thankful. As Lee and Shari were talking about, exemplifying gratitude. Just always be thankful and gratitude. Sow the right seeds so that the right harvest comes around.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mark and Rosana, like you said about communication, using the right words. What is one message, Rakesh bhai, you would like to give to the audience about happy married life? Just unmute yourself. You're on mute.
What to say, I don't understand. I'm not able to say anything. But to live happy, you have to make your partner happy. Try to understand each other. Try to understand each other's value. That is the best way to be happy in happily married life.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much, Rakesh.
One more thing I would like to thank Mr. Kevin Patel, Kishore Parikh, Rachna Sabarwal, Loyola, and all my EOI friends across the world. That is respectable Bukola Oriola from Texas. I'm highly inspired. She is a wonderful woman. I'm eager to meet her also. And Stacy Simon in USA. She has taken she is a journalist, and she has taken interviews of all prime ministers of the world, almost. And Katya Diamond, renowned choreographer in California. So these are all my friends and Facebook friends and relatives, and my son-in-law in Detroit. I want to thank everyone who has liked me and commented on this talk show. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rakesh and Sangeetha. So Lee and Shari, you have 1 minute. I'm sorry, but what is that you would like to share with our audience? Thank you.
One thing I would like to share with the audience is guard your mind. You are the guardian of your mind. If my wife is the only woman that I allow into my mind, into my thoughts, into my world of dreaming, that's the only one that goes there. She's the only one that's placed there. So guard your mind. You have the freedom to guard your mind and keep a commitment until death do us part.
Thank you very much. So in the end, friends, I would like to thank Manan Rawal, who is the founder of Bharat FM. And once again, I would like to thank Mark and Rosana Kinman, Rakesh and Sangeetha Shah, Lee and Shari Rickenbach for joining this event today, sparing a valuable time and giving the wealth of wisdom to all people. And I think you all have inspired me. I learned so much today from each one of you. And I always say that I'm a student of life. I'm not a perfect husband. I always say that I'm a failure. It is my wife who made me. She's the backbone of my success. And I always say it's a fact that many times the ladies or the wife, they do not take the credit. The credit goes to the guys. But I would like to proudly proclaim loud and clear that it is Dancy D'Souza who made my life change from pain to pleasure. And you all couples have played a very big role in my personal life. So thank you very much. God bless all the couples in the world. Happy married life. Thanks for joining. Vande Mataram. I'll just play the jingle. And once again, thank you. Just stay tuned.
This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा भारत.
ये है भारत FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा भारत.
Hriday. One second, I'm just trying to. I think we'll clock back in. Just give me, well, just you can just clock back in.
If I'm audible, I thank Mr. Lee and Shari, Mark and Rosana to be with me on this wonderful event.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Namaste, Jai Hind. Jai Hind.
It's been our privilege as well to meet you for the first time. We hope it's not the last time. And
it is
also to
definitely
be
not
with
a last
Mark and Rosana again.
Yes. Yeah, we're really honored to be, part of this panel with you guys, and Rakesh and Sangeeta. Just a real joy to hear a little bit about your life, and we're looking forward to meeting you here in the States.
Yes.
I know it's evening time there, so I guess you're getting ready for bed pretty soon here. But thank you guys so much for your inspiration, and Lee and Shari. Just been a pleasure meeting you guys in recent weeks, and I just believe God puts us all together for a reason.
Yes,
I believe
he
he
does.
does.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes, and when you and Rakesh, when you all come to the United States, my house, our house is your house.
Equally
Thank you
here.
very much. Thank you so very much. We will meet, and we will have a good time in America.
Yes.
We have one problem
I'm-
here, though. One problem here, though. We don't
Namaskar,
have good
Satyakal,
tea like
welcome
you
and
have there.
adab. You are listening to Bharat FM, a one-of-its-kind, multilingual, eclectic provider of entertainment, information, and news to Indian Americans. Headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio, Bharat FM airs shows out of Cincinnati, Chicago, and Phoenix. We take pleasure in our ability to cater to your bhakti, chusti, sfurti, shakti, and masti needs with our audio and visual shows. Check out bharatfm.com for our online program schedule and archives. I'm sure the content will definitely tickle your senses. Tune in via the 24-hour web streaming on bharatfm.com or via the Bharat FM app. More information can be procured at 513-488-5070.
This is Bharat FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा भारत.
ये है भारत FM.
बजेगा भारत झूमेगा भारत.